finish the game, they get that goal. It's not 1, it's 2, 3, it's bang. It's job done. But two very different feels or feelings between Celtic's performance and Rangers' performance.
And it comes from the top, Craig. You've got a Celtic manager saying, yeah, we can compete here. We want to compete here. We should be going up against this level of opposition year on year. And I was just surprised to hear Giovanni van Bronckhorst say, no, you need hundreds of millions to compete in the Champions League. I think Rangers can do better. They have done in the last couple of years. They've had some of their best performances have been reserved for Europe.
Let's hear that comment from GVB about the big bucks.
To compete in Champions League, you need hundreds of millions. I mean, otherwise you can't compete. If you look at all the squads we are facing now, look at Ajax, they sold for over 200 million. Liverpool as well. So for us to compete with them, it's I think for us it's too much to ask. We want to compete, but we want to compete with the squad we have and the squad we are able and capable in making. And we knew it's going to be tough, and that showed today.
Craig, £100 million plus to compete. Your former colleague. What would you say?
I would say he's emotional still in that interview, because I think when you really think about what Giovanni's just said there, and okay, you take different leagues and what have you. I don't know how much Nottingham Forest have spent, for example, in the Premier League. Maybe 150 million. They can still get relegated. They can still get relegated. So,
well, I remember years ago, Craig, Newcastle spent more than 100 million when that was an extraordinary sum, and they get relegated.
And look at Chelsea; they spent over 200 million, and the manager 258 million. Yeah. He's sacked 40 hours later, a week later.
Madness.
What do you think of that comment? I know you mentioned it, Andy. You need that kind of money. A lot of people felt he didn't spend enough. He wasn't given enough money, was he, during the transfer window? And given the injuries they've got.
Another thing he said was that everyone seems to think we've got millions of pounds in the bank, and he said we don't. So I think quite rightly, if you're a Rangers fan, you do wonder, hang on a minute, the Patterson, Aribo, Bassey, Europa League money, Champions League money, what is there to spend? And then the other thing, of course, is Giovanni van Bronckhorst said, I'm happy with my squad. We will develop. And
but was that a party line maybe from a manager going into a tournament?
Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, the disappointing thing for me, and we've spoken about it a number of times, and for Rangers supporters, is the lack of investment that's gone back into this team. I don't know the reasons why that has not happened. You look at the two, and again, you've got to be judged on your signings. And I know it's early in the season. Davies hasn't kicked the ball.
Yeah, right. On the bench last night, but obviously not yet fully fit.
4 million. Tillman, maybe a bigger spend, 5 or 6 million. Paul. Now he, for me, is still not just behind Barisic. He's a distance behind Barisic. So then you start to again get people.
Yilmaz. Of course.
He's a distance behind Barisic, in my opinion. But he's a £6 million spend.
I know.
Was it that much?
Maybe 5 million. Maybe 5 million.
It's in the millions, multi-millions. Yeah.
So again, like you, there comes a stage where you will be questioned on the back of two very, very poor performances against your greatest rival, and then being embarrassed. And listen, in the Champions League.
The other thing is, Scottish Premiership teams compete with Rangers, and they've got a fraction of the budget that they have.